If anybody tries to tell you that it's too early to start planning your spooky season TBR, just know that you don't need that negativity in your life. Hello you, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michaela, your resident spooky gal, and today I'm going to be telling you about some spooky book recommendations to add to your spooky season TBR. I cleaned me house in that witch's hat. Thank you so much for taking the time to click on this video. I appreciate you more than you know. Now let's get into the spooky season TBR and let me find you some new favourite books. I started this video in a spooky hat, so it's only right that the first book I speak about is a witchy book, and that is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Now I told no lies at the beginning of this video when I said I am a spooky girl all year round, because this was actually the first book I read this year. In 2025, in January, I read a witchy book because witchy books are not just for spooky season. So this book starts out in the 1970s in America, specifically Florida, where we meet our main character who is called Fern, and Fern is pregnant. However, she is only 15 years old. Now, it's not good being pregnant at 15 years old anyway, especially not in the 1970s, and especially not when you're not married. So her parents are driving her to this home for unwed mothers where she is going to be forced to have her baby in secret, give up her baby, and then go back home and pretend like nothing ever happens. But when she gets to this house, she meets so many girls who are in exactly the same position as her. And every month, a library, like a traveling library, comes along so the girls can pick out books. When one day the librarian gives Fern a book all about witchcraft. And suddenly she feels like the power is going to be in her hands for the very first time. This was a powerful book. No pun intended. I went into this book not really knowing what to expect because, initially my thoughts were, Grady Hendrix, a man speaking about women's issues? No, I'm not here for it. But let me tell you, he did this book justice. You can just tell and feel how much research he put into this book. The girls you meet are incredible. It's full of that occult, it's full of all that witchcraft, and girls just taking back their power. I've got goosebumps even talking about it. Grady Hendrix actually addresses the fact that he is a man who is writing about this in his acknowledgements, and I thought that was so interesting to read. This is probably one up there with one of my favourite books that I've read this year, and it's a story that has really stayed with me despite me reading it 9 months ago. Perfect spooky read. Add it to your CBR. If ever there was a book that was perfect to read at this time of year, it is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kalynn Bayron, because this is set at a horror maze, a scare maze, where you pay for people to scare you, and chase you. One of those type of places. They're like my guilty pleasure. I absolutely love them. I absolutely love being terrified, and obviously in your mind it's not real, these scare mazes, but part of me is always have these people had a criminal background check? How do you know this person hasn't took this job so they can murder people in secret? Do you know what I mean? So in You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, we meet our main character who is called Charity, and she has got a job at Camp Mirror Lake, I think it's called, where she has been hired as the final girl. So guests are coming along, they're paying for this horror experience, and she is acting out the final girl. I love that trope. But it takes a bit of a turn when guests are going missing, actors are going missing, things don't feel quite right. And Charity's acting skills are about to be top notch because she's about to be the final girl in real life. She's not just acting it. I do just want to put it out there that this is a YA book. Now, I am not a massive YA lover. there are very few YA books that I actually really enjoy, just because sometimes I feel they can be a bit petty, sometimes they're a bit oh, that's a bit cheesy. But this one is a good one. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It's got great LGBTQ plus representation, which we always love to see. And it's that optimum book length of 300 pages. It's not too long. It gets to the point and did exactly what it needed to do. And it's one I don't see nearly enough people talking about, so this is your sign. I feel I could have included so many of Riley Sager's books in this list because I feel quite a lot of them do fit into that spooky season category. But the one I've gone with is one I don't like see spoken about that often when it comes to Riley Sager, and it is Lock Every Door, because this is one of my favorite books by him. Me and Riley have got a love-hate relationship. Just know, like, most of his books I don't actually like. Like, I either absolutely love them, like 4 or 5 stars, or I think they're absolutely terrible, like 1, 2 stars, you know? But Lock Every Door is one that you absolutely need to be adding to your TBRs if you've not read it. Also, let me know what cover you prefer. Do you prefer the US cover or the UK cover? I'll put them both on screen. Let me know, because as always, I prefer the US cover. Shock. Lock Every Door is set in New York, and it is set in this gothic apartment block called the Bartholomew. It is like one of the most exclusive brownstone like apartment buildings in New York. And Jules, our main character, has just got a job there where she is going to be an apartment sitter. So she's going to live there rent free. But like, surely there's a catch with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, New York's one of the most expensive places in the world. Our girl has just got a place living in this house rent free. What is the catch? And they're saying that the reason is because this is such an exclusive apartment block, the apartments can't be like seen to be empty. Some people need to live in them, so like it's still considered exclusive and they've not just got like empty apartments sat there. Jules meets another girl who is living in the apartment block doing the same kind of gig. Her name is Ingrid, and she starts telling Jules all about like the apartment block's dark history. But like, is it rumors? Are they just stories? Well, Ingrid goes missing. Jules does a bit of digging, and then she finds out that this is not the first apartment sitter who has gone missing. So like, what's going on? It's like, it's got that gothic vibe, it's got that rich people drama, it's got one of my favorite plot twists in a thriller book. Like, I loved it. I'd be interested to know if you have read this. Did you love it or did you hate it? Because I feel like it's quite a decisive book. So yeah, let me know. Guys, it's time to talk about one of my favorite books of all time. One of my favorite books of all time, Cackle by Rachel Harrison. Rachel Harrison is another author where I feel like I could have included so many of her books, but I had to narrow it down, you know? So if you do want to see a part 2 to this video, please let me know. Cackle is another witchy book. So we meet our main character, Annie. Annie is like just turned 30. She's just gone through a breakup, and like she feels like she doesn't know where her life is going. So she moves to a new town, a new small town for a fresh start. When she gets there, she meets a woman called Sophie who like the town seem to like hate her. Like they're very wary of her, and the rumor is she's the town witch. But Annie and Sophie just build up like this most amazing friendship. Like I can't like this book is so hard to talk about because like it is categorized as a horror book, but like I would call it more like cozy horror versus like horror. Does that make sense? This book also features one of my favorite characters of all time, a character that I have a tattoo of. Ralph. If you know, you know. I'm not going to tell you because I do feel like it's a bit of a spoiler. I remember like when my friend told me like, oh, there's a character in there called Ralph that you're going to love. And I was like, oh, not a man. But like, just trust me. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. But I also feel like it's a book about like found family, finding yourself like in your 30s. I feel like if you're like late 20s, like 30s, maybe even 40s, like I feel like you would be able to relate to Annie as a character and what she's going through. But like I'm also conscious that when I say that, it makes the book sound shit, and it's like a book about finding yourself that's a horror. Yeah, just ignore that bit. Brother by Anya Allborn, another one of my favorite books. Wow, this book could be a horror movie. Like, it legit could. Michael, our main character, lives with his family in the Appalachian Mountains. Like, whenever you say the Appalachian Mountains, I always feel like you, like, relate that to horror movies, you know, like Wrong Turn, all those kind of films. They're all set there, aren't they? Well, Michael lives with his family in the Appalachian Mountains. However, his family are a bunch of cannibals. Yes, you heard me right. They eat people. But Michael always felt like he doesn't belong there. Like, he's like not a willing cannibal. He's like kind of like just got to do it because his family does it, and like he's not forced to do it, but like that's all he's ever known. But like he doesn't agree with it. When he gets a job in like the local town in a record store, and he meets a girl there and starts falling for her, but his family are like, dinner. So it's like he's kind of got to decide, like, does he want to still be with his family? Does he want to move forward with this girl? It's like those tough decisions whilst focusing on the family being a bunch of cannibals. And like, I would say this is more of like a character-driven book versus a plot-driven book, but I love that. Like, I feel like it's just this character study of this cannibalistic family that live in the Appalachian Mountains. I will never be over the ending of this book as long as I live. Like, I legit will never. I think I want to reread this. I want to say it's like been 2 years since I read this, and I'm feeling a reread. Maybe it's going to be one that I reread over spooky season. Do you like me little ghost? Like, look, you can be a devil or you can be an angel ghost. But I felt like the devil was more appropriate for this video, you know. Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Now, this is another one that I read such a long time ago, more than 3 years ago, and I still remember everything about it. It's a book that has really, really stayed with me. And like, if you haven't read this book yet, I don't know what to tell you. This is your sign. In Hidden Pictures, we follow our main character called Mallory. Mallory's been having a bit of a bad time, but things are starting to look up because she's just got a job as a nanny looking after a little boy called Teddy for this really nice family. Everything's going well in her new job. They're doing like kid activities. When one day they decide to do a bit of drawing, and the kid starts drawing creepy as fuck pictures. And the thing about this book is it contains said pictures. I'm going to have to get my copy. I can't talk about this book and not show you some. I'm just going to show you one because like the book contains loads of pictures, but I'm just going to show you one just so like you know what you're getting yourself into, okay? Like I'm just going to do like yeah. Tell me that's not creepy. That's a better way of holding it, isn't it? That is the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my bloody life. And like if I hold it this way, you can kind of see where all those dark lines are. That is where all the creepy pictures are. So like there's a lot that are probably going to give you nightmares. So like what's going on? Is the kid possessed? How's he suddenly turned into an artist? Like, because the pictures get a lot more creepier than what I just showed you. Like I said, this is a book that I read such a long time ago and I just think about it all the time. It's incredible. It's creepy. Exactly what you want at this time of year. And I feel like those pictures just add another layer to it. You know, like they're not being described to you. You're seeing them. So like, yeah, a whole another level of scary. The Gathering by C.J. Tudor. Now, love this book. Love. If you've got anything bad to say about it, don't tell me because it will hurt my feelings. Because this is set in a small town in Alaska where I want to say the population's like 70 people. But these people who live in this small town live alongside vampires. Like they're fully aware of the fact that they live alongside vampires. And I just think that's so interesting. Like normally when we read about vampires in books, we read like the humans don't have any idea about the vampires are hunting the humans. No, in this book they live like they cohabitate side by side, but that is on the condition that they don't eat humans. Like they're not hunting the humans, so the colony of vampires just live quite happily. They hunt on animals, like they're not after the humans basically, until one day a body turns up in this town which looks like it's been savaged by the vampires. So our detective Babs, who's a vampire, not a hunter, she's like a vampire detective, has been called in to find out if it was the colony that did this or not. And if it was, she is going to wipe out the whole colony. Like that's the agreement. Like if they're caught doing it, they're all going to be killed. The most terrifying thing about this book for me was the fact that the head of the vampire colony is somebody that's 700 years old, but she is occupying the body. Well, like she is like a 9-year-old girl. So obviously vampires don't age. So she's a 9-year-old girl that is really 700 years old and she's the head of the vampire colony. Like it's giving Annabelle. Do you know what I mean? Like creepy doll. I absolutely love books about vampires anyway. And like I think it stems from like being a Twilight girly, the Vampire Diaries, that kind of thing. I just absolutely love it. I said to Amy the other day, actually, I was like, please can we like watch the Vampire Diaries series together? Because I feel like you would love it. So like I'm in the process of trying to persuade her to do that. So yeah, I love anything to do with like books, TV shows about vampires, and this is one of my favorite vampire books. If you've got this far into the video, I would love it so much if you could subscribe and stick around so like I can give you like loads more thriller book recommendations, you know. And if you are subscribed, if you could give this video a thumbs up, I can't explain how much I appreciate it and how much it helps me. Thank you. I mean, it should be illegal to read The September House in any other month apart from September. I read this book in September last year, and I feel like it's only right. You've got to read it in September. So this book follows Margaret and Hal, who have just bought their dream Victorian home, and they got it for a bargain, and they're like, that's a bit suspicious. Why have we got it so cheap? But like, they're not questioning it. They're buying their dream home. And I can relate because like, I would love nothing more than like a big Victorian house. Literally my dream. Well, anyway, the catch is that every September, the walls start bleeding. Like the walls start bleeding blood. Ghosts all start appearing in the house, and like you can't go into the basement because something's down there. That's the catch. I mean, it's only 1 month out of the year, innit? It's like, do you know what I mean? You got 11 normal months. Margaret is determined to stay in that house. Like, she's not letting the bleeding walls put her off. But her husband, Hal, has had enough, and he's off. He's like, I'm leaving you. Deal with this on your own. And, like, she has to get to the bottom of, like, why this is actually happening to their house to save her marriage and stop her leaving her dream home. Now, bit of a disclaimer. I didn't like this book, all right? But I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. No spoilers, obviously. Because this is a bit of like a comedy thriller. Like there's a lot of humour in this book. And I went into it not expecting that. And it kind of took me by surprise. Like I don't think I was like prepared for the humour. I didn't hate this book. I just wish that I had known that going into it, because I feel like I would have enjoyed myself a bit more knowing what I was actually getting myself into. So yeah, I just want to inform you of that, you know? So like, because I know there's so many people who love this book. Like so many of my friends, so many of you guys have told me that you love this book. But unfortunately for me, like it wasn't a favourite, but I do think the potential was there if I had been informed correctly. Murder Road by Simone St. James is set in the 90s. Something about me is I love a 90s setting. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's the nostalgia, you know? Like, I feel like they didn't have mobile phones, like DNA testing wasn't like as such a thing. But yeah, Murder Road is set in the 90s, so that immediately piqued my interest. And in this, we follow a young couple who have just got married, and they are driving on their way to a luxury resort for their honeymoon when they see a woman standing on the side of the road, a hitchhiker, and they're like, let's stop and pick her up. That's always a bad idea, isn't it? Like, don't do that. Well, she gets in the car, they turn around and they're like, I love, you're right. And she's covered in blood. She's literally bleeding. She's bleeding out. So they're like, oh, bloody hell, let's take her to the hospital. She gets to the hospital and she dies. I'm going on my honeymoon next week. And I can tell you right now, we will not be picking up any hitchhikers. All right. I've heard too many bad things. It turns out that this stretch of road has been like notorious for people going missing, people getting murdered, and like because this young couple are new to the area, they've just took this girl to hospital, they are now the number one suspects for all of the murders and disappearances that have been taking place. So they have to clear their name. This is a bit more of a paranormal mystery. So like if you like paranormal, I don't mind paranormal if I go into it knowing it's paranormal. Yeah, I think you could enjoy this. This is actually one of the, I think it's the only book I've read from Simone St. James, but I feel like she's another author that would be perfect to read around spooky season. I have got one of her books on my spooky season TBR. So if you want to know what's on my spooky season TBR, let me know and I'll do that video. I've got to give you what you want. Do you know what I mean? 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, all right? And I just need to show you my special edition of it, because if this isn't given autumn, I don't know what is. Because look, isn't that incredible? Wow, look at those smudges. I am obsessed. This follows Red and her friends. That's a cool name, isn't it? Red. I feel like Holly Jackson's characters, like her new book, the main character is called Jet. This one, she's called Red. Her and her friends are going on a road trip. They are driving 8 hours through the night to get to their destination when they realise that a bloody sniper is after them. A sniper? Like, the book's actually so cool because it gives you like a little map of the RV truck. So like you can really see what you're reading, you know, and like a map of where they're travelling to. This is another one that is a YA book, just putting that out there. But like Holly Jackson for me is like probably like one of the only YA authors that I will like buy her book, like no matter what. Like I will always pre-order a Holly Jackson book regardless. But excitingly, she has come out with like her first adult book, which I'm going to be reading in September. So And because this is set over 8 hours, I feel like it's like quite fast paced. The whole like sniper angle of it, I feel like that's quite an interesting angle. Obviously, there's secrets going to be revealed, there's betrayal, just exactly what you want from a thriller book, you know? And sometimes I feel like Holly Jackson's books aren't too YA. Like I said before, I'm not a big lover of YA, but hers, okay. And the last book I'm going to recommend to you is The Housemates by Ian Rob Wright, because I read this as part of a Spookaween reading vlog that me, Ashley, and Carly did over on Book Talk last year. It was so much fun. This is probably one of the most like horror books in this list, which is why I've left it to like the last one, because I think it is actually categorized as extreme horror. Now listen, I am not an extreme horror girly. I'm not, all right? Give me it in films, give me all of the gore in films, but my mind goes to dark places when I'm just reading the words, because like I'm forming the pictures in my head and I don't like it. Whereas like on a movie, I'm only being shown what like they want to show me. So like I can handle it. But this mind, it's a dark place. But I feel like this one wasn't like too extreme, you know. There were a couple of bits in the book where I was like, ee! Like, no. But like not too much. Yeah. So, and that's your only warning, because this book follows Damien. Damien has been invited on a once in a lifetime competition. He's going to live basically in Big Brother with 12 other people for 12 days, and there's going to be £2 million in prize money at the end of it. But as soon as they get there, something feels a bit off, and the challenges start coming in, like this is what you need to do to win the money, and like names are being put on the screen like cheat, liar, murderer, abuser. And it's like, what? Like, is that corresponding to the people that are in the house? Because this is a trap. And the challenges that they have to do just get darker and darker and darker until one of them is the winner and they will leave with the money. So yeah, this is that like optimum book length as well. It's quite short. I feel like extreme horror books do tend to be on the shorter side, but I really enjoyed this book. I was very nervous going into it, but I was pleasantly surprised at how much I did enjoy it. If you look up this book online, you will see that it says it's part of a series, but I haven't read the other books in the series. They are standalone books, so just know that. You'll be fine. And good luck. Let me know if you read this book. And that is it, guys. That is the end of this video. Part 1 of the spooky season Rex. If you want to see a part 2, please let me know, because this is just my favourite topic to talk about. I could do it all day. And like, if you want to see the ones that are on my spooky season TBR, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, as ever. I hope you've got some good recommendations. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed on your way out. And for those of you that are subscribed, I love you. I appreciate you, and I shall see you next time. I should have put the witch's hat on again for the outro. God, I've screwed that up, didn't I? Let me scooch down so you can see. Cute.